Okay, welcome back to playthrough Flying Colors, Battle of the Nile. We're up to turn 6, and I brought you back here to do a little bit of turn playthrough with this, rather than just an overview of the turns, because turn 6, the French have activated in this turn. British still have the initiative, the wind hasn't changed, but now it's getting a little interesting. And just to bring you slightly up to speed, I will do an overview of what happened between turns 4 and turns 6 as well, but just a little quick overview to give the situation. At the head of the French line, the vanguard of the French line, the Guerre up here has been captured. They've grappled, and they've been captured by the British ship, Goliath, and is now under their command. So that's given several victory points to the British, actually 12 victory points to the British, which is good. Rest of the British fleet under, where is he? I just lost his counter. Well, oh, here he is. Sorry, wrong one. He should be over here. Under Saumarez, he is moving down this way. Now, historically, they anchored. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think they need to come down here a little bit and work over some of these other ships in the vanguard here. Now, Nelson is coming in behind him. You can see Nelson right about there, and the other fleet is coming in over there to attack down through here as well. The Orient is still off the board, or off the camera, I should say. It's not off board, but off camera. And we'll see what happens here. From the French perspective, actually just shift you down here a second. I have had the French now split their command. We do have Debris up here holding the northern end of the units, the vanguard in the center, or the front and the center, and then the tailing end under Villiers has now split, and they will be under their own command. The reason why I did that is there's a potential of that command actually raising their anchors, cutting their anchors, and trying to head out to meet the British. Still up in the air on that in terms of what that happens with that. But just wanted to give you a little sense of the battle up here, because we'll probably get through the activation of Saumarez and his command attacking these ships, as well as doing De Beers and this whole line, because De Beers has this whole line up to the Conquerant right here that's still under his command. So let's get to it. So as I said, the British have the initiative, so they will move first. And this is always a challenge if you've played this, figure out what you want to go first, because once you've moved a ship and done all their actions, they potentially become a blocking ship to others down here as well. So you've got to be very careful in terms of how you position and how you move to make actions happen. So I think first I'm going to take the simplest one, the Zealous, and he's got a movement of 4, because you can see with the wind direction up here. Let's actually slide that down a little bit. There we go. He's actually running with the wind, so he's got 4 movement points. Now I am playing with defensive fire, so the Sparte, I think that's what it is. Sparte, yeah, is potentially going to defensively fire on them, if possible. Now we could do this a couple of ways, and I'm thinking that the Zealous will come down 1 to there. Now they've moved, satisfied a movement, so the Sparte could fire a partial broadside at the front of their ship, but that may not be great, because it's only a partial broadside, so they're going to be reduced in terms of their firepower. But at this point, the Zealous has moved 1 point, and now they can potentially rotate on that and turn back into a reaching position, which costs nothing. And now they've crossed them into a T position there. So if you do that, then they're going to be in a tough position. They could still defensively fire at them first, which I think at this point they will. I just want to think about the Zealous here a minute. They've done one. They've turned back over here. That didn't cost anything. They'll have to back sail to prevent them going into the shoal, which will allow them to turn back, or they could just drop anchor at this point and just blast away at them, which I think that's probably going to be a more wise decision. Well, if they drop anchor, though, I got to think about that. If they drop anchor here, if they want to move again, they're going to have to raise anchor, and at that point they'll have 2 movement points. If they raise their anchor, and they'd have to back sail, turn, and then move down here. So they could do it. So I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to turn this way. At this point, I think we're going to do our defensive fire from the Spartan, I believe. So let's take a look at what that firing is going to look like. So they're third rate, okay, and a distance of 1. So they're going to have 12, but their rate is reduced by 1 for partial broadside, so they ship down to a 4th rate, so they're going to be reduced to 10. Okay, they're not rotating on anchor, they're not tacking full sail or anything like that. They do have a white shaded symbol for their firepower right here. So that's going to give them a plus 1 on their firepower, so that goes to 11. Audacity is 0. Point blank, no. Cannonade, let's see, this is the French. It gets a plus 1, so that goes up to 12. An initial broadside makes it 14. They are at anchor, so they will get a positive dice roll on the positive dice roll on the dice roll itself. So 14 anchored plus 2. What are they going to fire at? Hull or so let's see. They're going to be firing not against the wind, or not with the wind. So there's nothing there. It's a plus 2. It's a French ship firing. So if they go for the rigging, they'll get a plus 1 on the 14. That's a tough one. I think they got to go for the rigging because they're French. So 14 with a plus 3. 8 makes it 11. Okay, on the 14, it's 5 riggings and a hull hit. Alright, 5 riggings on the Zealous. So that reduces them in speed and a hull hit. Alright, there we go. And I just noticed I don't have my dice camera. That's better. Okay, so now I got my dice camera up there too. So you can see the 8 plus 3 is 11. So that did some damage on the Zealous. We can see if I tip my camera, there is the hits. Alright, so now looking at firepower back on the Spartan, this is, now they're going to drop anchor. So So they've rotated. They're dropping anchor by the bow, like that. Okay. So their fire is going to be a full broadside, third rate. That's 12. It's not a partial broadside. They're not rotating at anchor. They don't have any symbol there, so they're 12. Audacities +2, 14. Cannonade is +2, 16. And this is going to be the port broadside, which they fired already, so there's no initial bonus. But they do get the potential of a rake, so we've got to see first if they actually can rake the ship. Audacity rating -2. It's not a stern rate. Range to target is just 1. So it's going to be a -1 for 4 or less. Roll a 7. It's not going to be a rake, unfortunately. So, what did I say? It's going to be 12, 14, 16. So it's going to be 16 column against the bow, firing with the wind. So that's going to be a +1 for, they're going to go for the hull. So they're going to go +1 for the hull, British firing at the hull, and with the wind, so it's +2. So 16 with a +2. Gets a 1. +2 is 3. Gives them 3 hull hits with a chance of fire. Alright, 3 hull hits and a chance of fire. Now the fire is going to be on a 3 or less. Rolls a 6, no fire. So 3 hull hits on the Spartan. Like so. So they now have 3 hull hits, and I should get some of my broadside markers going here. Oop, there we go. So actually that was a partial, so I want the smaller ones here. On here, like so. And they did a full broadside, so go like that. Okay, and that's it. That's the first one. So they've dropped anchor, they've stopped right there, and they're going to blast away at each other going there. All right, so moving forward. Theseus is going to move 1 to there. Now they potentially could fire. The Conqueror could potentially fire, but seeing as they got the Audacious coming up here, as well as the Orion, they're going to hold fire because that would just be a partial on them, and let them go. So then they'll go 1. They've got 4, so this is 2. Now they can open fire against them, which I think they will. So they're a third rate. They'll be at a range of 2. So it's 9. They've already done their initial firing. There's no fire outside. So it's 9. Audacity makes it 11. Cannonade makes it 12. So it's going to be a 12. Now, Spartan can initial fire there and do a full broadside. So actually they need to go first. They're targeting them. The defensive fire goes first if they're targeting them. So it's going to be Spartan, which is third rate again. They're going to be 9. They had a +1 for 10 because they have a white symbol. Audacity is 0. Point blank cannonade is a +1, 11. Initial broadside makes it 13. So it's going to be a 13. And they will target the sails as well. So that'll be a +1 for French, anchored +3. It's not into the wind. Now the wind is coming that way, so no, it's not into the wind. So it's going to be a +3. Okay. So that was a, oh sorry, here I lost my place. 9, 10, 11, 13. Yeah, 13 with a +3 at the rigging. 7 + 3 is 10. Oh, good shooting by the French. It's 4 rigging and a hull hit. Okay, 4 rigging and a hull hit. And that's on the Thesis, which is back over here. I should move him up 4 hull. Move him up here. You can kind of see him. 4 rigging in a hull. There's the 1 hull hit right there. Okay, so they fired both sides. That was a full broadside at them. Put the broadside marker. Now return fire, or the initial fire here again. Looking at them, it's going to be 9. Plus 2 is 11. Cannonade makes it 13. It's not the initial broadside, so it's going to be 13. Fire at the hull or fire at the rigging. Fire at the hull, fire at the rigging, fire at the hull, fire at the rigging. 13. Yeah. They are going to fire. They're going to fire at the hull. So they'll get a +1 on the dice roll. 13 plus 1 up 3 is 3 hull hits. So they get 3 more. So that puts them at 6. It's good enough to reduce their fire. Oops, that's 8. I want 8, 6. Right there. Reduce their hull firing a little bit. And there's also the potential of a marine loss. So I'm playing with the optional marine loss rules. So we got to roll, let's see, they're a 4. So 4, less than 4. No, they didn't lose any marines. Okay. So let's get our fire marker on the SRS. And they moved 1, 2. They still got 2 more movement points to go. So they will back sail for 1, which means stand right there, and then they'll move forward for 1 to there. Just kind of staying there and kind of doubling them up as we did with the other ones. Okay, there we go. So now, moving on to the Audacious. Back over here, he's going to move 1, and at that point the Conqueror is going to use their defensive fire. Well, he's going to target them, so they're going to be firing first anyways. So we have the Conqueror, which is a 3. Yep, they're a 3 with a white circle. So range of 2. That's going to be initial 9. +1's 10. Audacity 0. Cannonade makes 11. Initial broadside's 13. Oh shoot, forgot something here. Hang on. 13 for them, but these guys fired. Spartan fired both, and Conqueror hasn't fired any, but they will be firing their starboard side, so I'll put that on there as well. Okay, so 13. And they will target the rigging as well, so they'll get the +1 and then +3 for anchored. So 13 with a +3. 0, 3 is 3 on 13 is 4 rigging hits. 4 rigging hits. Alright, so 4 rigging hits, and this is on the Audacious up here. Okay, so they're losing. British are starting to lose sail, meaning they're not going to be able to move too much. So that's going to be actually a help for them, keeping them away from the other ships. But the Audacious returns fire. Actually, put the broadside marker on. Audacious is going to return fire. Pretty much the same thing. It's going to be 9. +2 for Audacity is 11. Cannonade is +1, 12. So they're at 12. They will fire. Let's see, this is Conqueror. Oh, shoot. Look right there. I missed something. My bad on there. They should have been a -2 on their rate. So their rate should have been 5. So they should have been at a 5. Plus 1 is 6, 7, 9. That should have been a 9 with a plus 3. Okay, so I'm just going to back this up for correction purposes. Okay, so we've got actually 2 rigging on the Audacious. Alright, because they had taken hits. I need to remember to look at that. So 2 hits, but there's a chance of a fire breaking out. So we've got to roll to see if a fire breaks out. Just checking one thing here. Yeah, we just need to roll less than the rigging for the fire to break out. So less than 2, roll a 9. No fire breaks out on them. Okay. So now the Audacious is firing back. My point there again is 9. Plus 2 for the Audacity. Plus 1 for the Cannonades, 12. It's not the initial broadside. So we're looking at 12. And we're going to go against the hull. So it's going to be plus 1 for the British. 12 with a plus 1 gets us 0. Plus 1 is 1. Gets us a hull and a rigging. So he jumps to a 13. And let's see, I don't have a 13 out here. I've got to get a 13. There we go. We got a 13 on him, which now flips him over. He also gets a rigging hit, so we'll go to 6 as well. So he loses a rigging, probably another mast. That's him right here. And he actually has to flip over because he's now on his damaged side. So he becomes a 5th rate. He gets a shot. Let's get some smoke on there to show he's fired. Alright, there we have it. So, and he's now going to backsail. Audacious is going to backsail 1. So that'll be 2 movement points. Now he's got to move forward 3. And he's going to move 1 more 4, just to let Nelson come in behind and open fire on the Conqueror. Okay, so Audacious is done their damage. Conqueror has problems, has some serious problems there. Okay, next, continuing with Conqueror's issues, Saumarez is going to move ahead, and he's going to go 1. Oh shoot, this is going to be a tough one here. How are we going to do this? He is not going to move ahead because, and this is one of the tricky parts with maneuvering, is he can move into these hexes here, but he has not enough to actually get by the Conqueror without stopping in here. So he needs to actually do a back sail here and then turn. So it's 1, and then turning back into a reaching position, and then move ahead 1, which now allows him to cross the T on Conqueror. Now the Conqueror's port broadside can take a shot at these guys first. Now they're going to be shooting, so I'll just do it as part of normal defensive fire. So Conqueror will be firing first. They're now a 5th rate. Alright. And they will be firing at a range of 1, which is 7. 7, he's not on fire, he's not dismasted. Okay, he does still have the he does still have the weight, so he goes up to 8. No audacity. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. He is a partial broadside. So he's going to drop, actually start with a 4. Plus 1's 5. Audacity 0. Point blank no. Cannonade is plus 1. So he's 6. It is his initial broadside, so that goes to 8. So he has 8 on the Orion. And now he is at anchor, so he can fire if he wants. He's going to try for the rigging. It's going to be 8 with a plus 3. And he is against with the wind. He is firing. No, he's not firing with the wind. So 8 with a plus 3. Gets a 0 with a plus 3 is 2 rigging on the Orion. So the Orion is back over here. I'll slide this as far as I can right there. Actually, I'm going to turn him. So that's going to be 2 rigging right there. Just off camera, you can see him angled right there. His card, I'll give you a wide angle shot at later with this. I'm doing the close up now. Alright, so he gets a 2 rigging. Now, the Orion's initial broadside. Now he did a partial, so we'll get the smaller ones out here just to show that they fired. There we go. So now the Orion firing back, he's a 3, so he's going to be at a range of 1, so it's 12. Audacity makes it 14. Cannonade makes it 16. Initial broadside makes it 18. Oh, we do need to see if it's a rake. So we have Audacity rating -2, so stern rake. Commander quality is a 3, so it's -5, and range is 1, so it's going to be -4. Gets a 5. Oh, it's no rake. He missed out. Oh, it's not a rake. Okay. So it's going to be 18 without being a rake. Firing at, I believe, yeah, we're going to have to go with the hull. It's not firing with the wind or against the wind. So it's just going to be a +1. 18 with a +1. 0 again. Oh, 18. 4 hull with a chance of fire. Okay, the fire is going to be on a 4 or less. Also 9, no fire. So 4 more hits to 4 more hull hits to the Conqueror. Okay, he's in very tough shape. He's only got 8 more to go. He's not in a what's its position? A striking position, or a vulnerable position. That's what I'm thinking of. He is not quite there yet. Okay, so he's done. Back to the Orion. They fired. So get the marker on there, and they've also got, that's their port side firing on the Orion. So now they've now fired both sides. There we go. And we've got this over here. And the Orion's movement has done 1, turn 2. They've got 2 more movement points to go. So before they can, well, they did move ahead, so he could turn back like that. He's fired already, so they can't fire that side. So 2, 3, like so. Now the Conqueror is, he's a manpower of 2. Boy, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to grapple now, just to give you a sense of what the grappling is. I'm going to try to grapple and capture the Conqueror, just like the Guerriere was captured before. So I'm going to go to my grappling table here. Let me just find my charts. Grappling. Here it is. Okay. So he's going to grapple. First off, we're going to check for evasion. Now, oh, he can't evade. That's right, because he's anchored. So there's no evasion rolls. So now trying to grapple. So grappling on a 0 to 4. Marine difference is 2, so we're going to -2. Hasn't struck its colors, and it's not fouled. So it's a 4 plus with a -2. Rolls a 9. They fail to grapple. All right. That takes care of that. So they will back sail and stop there. Okay. So that's the Concurrent. All right, or that's, excuse me, the Orion. So we've done, out of his group, we've done the Audacious, we've done all of these guys. So the only one left is the Goliath back here, who is grappled on here. Now, do I want to remove the grapple? Because they've captured the ship. I'm doubtful that it's going to come back, given the British behind it there. So I think it's going to drop its grapple. He is going to be captured. So I think they're going to lose their grapple like this. All right, but they don't have their full sailing capability here yet. I'm just going to make note that this is captured here as well. I've got it on the card, but I'm gonna do that there as well. So I think I just want to check on this. When they remove the grapple, I think they're dead. They were dead in the water, so I think they only get half their movement. Yes, they do. If they remove the grapple, they only get half their movement. So they'd have 4 would be their initial ones. They only get 2. So they're going to go actually ahead just 1 and then back sail, so they don't bump into Orion up ahead like so. Okay. So that's all of that command activated. Now it's over to the French, which these lead units that are engaged have already fired, so they can't really fire or do anything in through there. I don't think I'm going to have them slip their anchors. So I'm not sure if I want to use debris activation yet, because he's really not going to be able to move. I'm really thinking more down below here, and I apologize, I'm off camera here to de Villiers, and I'm going to need to figure out what I'm going to do with them. So I think I'm going to stop this here. I just kind of gave you the show of the playthrough and give you some of the detail. I didn't play through the full turn. I'm going to finish off the turn here. I was kind of hoping that there would be melee over in here, just to show you what that's like, but didn't happen this turn, so maybe we'll see that later. But I will continue on with the turn and then bring you back with a recap of turns 5 and 6. But I hopefully enjoyed the playthrough, the detailed playthrough of the British activation here with Battle of the Nile on turn 6 and just all the action that's happening. So thanks for watching. We'll see you later.